At the moment, only Salman Zia is here. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let others join in too. All right, I think we can start now. So this is group 4, and we were going through product life cycle, if you recall, in our previous class. And product life cycle, just quickly, what we have done so far, we learned that the term product life cycle, it represents all those stages through which a product passes during its lifetime, and drew that product life cycle diagram also. So those 4 stages are introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And the methodology was also discussed as to how to attempt a question of product life cycle. Others are joining in. Okay, so we were discussing that we are already done with the first 3 stages in product life cycle, and we referred to the diagram also, all those stages through which a product passes during its lifetime: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And we established the fact that whenever you're attempting a question on product life cycle, it is recommended that you need an introductory paragraph first, define the key term, draw the diagram, maybe a couple of examples. I think I referred to the life cycle of Coke, which was established in 1886, and it's still growing. But we also learned about the fact that about 50% of all new products, they disappear within 1 year. So their lifespan spreads over a few months only. So basically, what we can conclude is that the time period involved in the product life cycle, it cannot be predicted, right? Okay. And as to, how to attempt a question of product life cycle, I'm just going through what we have already covered, just to make sure that, there's a quick recap, and then we continue with stage number 4 onwards. So whenever you're attempting this question, divide it between the characteristics, with reference to each stage. These are the characteristics of the introductory stage, growth, maturity, and not only the characteristics, the strategy to be adopted at each stage. Both have to be discussed. This is a part of your answer, right? The characteristics, for example, at the introductory stage, there are no economies of scale, there are teething problems, startup problems, etc. And then the strategy to be adopted. And if you remember, what we learned was that the strategy is a combination of a suitable price and a suitable advertising campaign. So for the introductory stage, it was penetration pricing and informative advertising, or possibly skimming pricing also if it's a luxury item. Then at growth, the main features were major economies of scale, you're overcoming competition, the customers, they have accepted the product, and the strategy also has to be modified when it is at growth from penetration pricing, they switch to cost plus pricing or competitive pricing, depending on the situation. And this is coupled with persuasive advertising. Then at maturity, what we observed was that this is the stage at which the sales have reached the peak, highest possible level. They're at the maximum. So major economies, high profit, brand loyalty is there, huge market share, maturity. But at this stage, we must not undermine the importance of the fact that at this stage, the sales are leveling off. There's no further increase in sales. So that is the risk factor involved as far as this stage is concerned. There's no further growth. The sales are very high, but there's no further growth and they are leveling off. They're almost constant. So this is something which should be, of some concern to the management, because the sales are leveling off. This might be followed by decline also. And plus there are diseconomies of scale also. So in order to perform well at this stage, they should rely on various extension strategies. Remember, extension strategies such as highlighted different uses of the same product, like Nike sportswear can be used as casual wear also, or changing the outlook, changing the ingredients, the composition, relying on sales promotion schemes, below the line promotion, so on and so forth. So this was just the background or the summary of what we have already covered. Now we have to go through the last stage in the product life cycle, and that is called decline. Stage number 4, the last one. Now, you see, you already have the diagram. This is, now this stage number 4, decline. It obviously represents a critical situation. It represents a crisis. This is a critical situation, decline. And maybe, this is what the company was actually afraid of. The product is declining. That graph, it is showing a downward trend. So basically, at this stage, the business starts losing its customers to other competing brands, right? This is what decline is, that a business is losing its customers to competitors. They're losing their customers to other competing brands. And basically the market share is shrinking. The market share is shrinking. The market share, obviously, of their competitors, that is improving. So you're losing your customers. The sales are going down. That is why the graph slopes downwards. The sales are going down. Now the company, they have to bear losses. Your market share shrinks. You're losing customers. There are no economies of scale, because when the sales go down, the level of production goes down. So no economies of scale, the losses, market share shrinks, sales drop. So the situation obviously is critical. So, at this stage, a decline, which is needless to say, the worst stage in the product life cycle, there are two possible ways of handling this. Two possible ways of handling the performance of the product or the product itself at this stage. The two possible ways of doing that. And what are those? There are two possible strategies that can be adopted for overcoming this problem, for resolving this crisis. One strategy is called divesting. Strategy 1, at decline, this is called divesting, D-I-V-E-S-T, to divest, right? Divesting is just the opposite. Divest is just the opposite of invest. So basically, you just have to reverse it. In investment, you are injecting money into the business. That's what investment is. You inject money into the business because you expect it to yield a return in the future. In divesting, you withdraw your investment. Divesting means you withdraw your investment, and the managers, they have reached the conclusion that this product is a burden on their resources. They reach the conclusion this product, it's a burden on their resources, and if they continue with the production of this particular item, this will lead to further losses. This will lead to further losses for the business, right? So divesting means stop manufacturing the product, get rid of the product, eliminate the product. Divesting means eliminate the product, get rid of the product. It is a burden on our resources. and the manager feels that in order to avoid further losses, we have to discontinue with the production process. So stop producing it, stop advertising it, try to eliminate the product. If you have any stocks, try to get rid of the stocks at a low price, save whatever you can, and use that money elsewhere. So the manager who divests, he had reached the conclusion that, you know, this product is in a hopeless situation. The manager who decides to divest, now he thinks that wasting resources on this product, this point onwards, will be unwise. So we have to eliminate the product, we have to divest, get rid of the stocks. You can even sell the machinery if it is of no use. Save whatever you can and invest it somewhere else. This is strategy one, adopted by a manager who has lost hope in the fate of this product. That's divesting. Strategy number two says, it's called, the second strategy, it's called recovery. Some managers, they will decide to divest at this stage. The other managers, they might decide to recover. Recovery, you see, as the name suggests, this is a strategy which is adopted by a manager who understands that the product is going down, the product is declining. But he also knows, or he hopes, that this decline is a temporary decline. Recovery is used when the manager thinks that it is a temporary decline, right? It is going down, it is showing a downward trend, but it's a temporary decline. This is the viewpoint of the manager who decides to divest. He feels it's a temporary decline, and through proper management, they can still recover from this, right? That's recovery. The manager thinks that even though the graph is going downwards, but this downward trend is a temporary phase, right? So this manager, he decides to recover. So he feels that through proper management, they will stabilize the situation and they will again start making profit, and they will start getting a good response from the customers. That's recovery. So this person, this manager, he's more ambitious, obviously. He's more ambitious, he's more resourceful. And this manager thinks that, if he makes the right move and if he comes up with a suitable strategy, this decline will prove to be a temporary phase. So interestingly enough, in recovery, all those extension strategies that we discussed at stage number 3, all those extension strategies that we discussed with maturity are relevant to recovery also, right? All those strategies, they're relevant to recovery also. All those extension strategies that we discussed previously, right? Different uses of the same product, convincing the customers that you must increase the usage of the product, like Nestle says, consume 8 glasses of water, changing the outlook, changing the composition, the packaging, the ingredients, available vitamin without calories, launching a sales promotion scheme, below the line promotion, buy one, get one free, discounts, lucky draw, exploring new markets. All these are extension strategies. So whatever we've discussed at the maturity stage as extension strategies, all those strategies are relevant to this recovery also. So this is strategy number 2, right? That will try and resolve this crisis. This is a situation. The situation is obviously, it is adverse, but if we handle it tactfully, we can still recover from this, right? So that is what recovery is all about. So I hope you have understood all 4 stages. It's not that difficult, very important topic. You have to discuss the characteristics of each stage and the strategy also. Divide the answer between introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Use the diagram to explain. I hope you have understood this. This is product life cycle in section 3, marketing. All right, everyone. Okay. Now, the next topic to be discussed, that is market segmentation. Let's try and discuss and understand market segmentation here. That's another topic, next topic in section 3, market segmentation. Okay. You see this market segmentation, this topic, or the phenomenon of market segmentation, this is also an integral part of market orientation, right? This is also an important part of market orientation. Market orientation, as most of us know, market orientation means designing a product, pricing a product, promoting a product, distributing a product, with the purpose of coming up to the expectations of the target audience. That is market orientation: to produce, to design, to price, to promote, to distribute a product in accordance with the requirements of the target market. Doing what the customers want you to do, that is market orientation. So this topic that we are going to discuss now, market segmentation, it is an integral part of market orientation. So if you want to achieve the goal of market orientation, you must segment the market properly. That's the point. That is market orientation, right? And that's what market segmentation is. We must define the term first, market segmentation. Market segmentation simply is the division or the segmentation of the market, dividing the market into various groups or subgroups. What is market segmentation? Dividing the market into various groups or subgroups in accordance with their specific characteristics. Dividing the market into various groups and subgroups in accordance with their specific characteristics. That's what market segmentation is, that you divide the market into different groups or subgroups. Subgroups obviously means subclassification, subdivision. Like there could be groups of engineers and doctors and other professionals, but mechanical engineers, civil engineers, these are subgroups. Engineers and doctors, those are groups, but mechanical engineers, heart specialists, these are subgroups. So dividing the market into various groups and subgroups in accordance with their specific characteristics like age, gender, income. That's what market segmentation is, right? And the business that segments the market always tries to make sure that in one segment, the characteristics of all the members, they are similar, right? One segment should include people whose characteristics are more or less alike, similar. And like I said in the beginning, market segmentation is a way of ensuring that the goal of market orientation is achieved. Because when you segment the market into various groups and you study their behavior separately, you will be able to come up with a product which fulfills the requirements of each market segment or the target audience. So that's market segmentation, and it helps us with market orientation. Okay. Now, market segmentation is of three types. The three categories, the three types of market segmentation. Let's try and go through those three types. Number one is called demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation, DEMOGRAPHIC. Demographic segmentation is market segmentation type number one, demographic. Now this word demography, it is the study of population. Demography is the study of population. So demographic factors are all the population related factors. All the population related factors, we call those demographic factors. All the population related factors. So we are discussing market segmentation here, the three types. The first type is demographic. Demographic includes all the population related factors, primarily age, gender, and income. The three main factors that come under demographic, those are age, gender, and income. Right? Okay. Always remember, generally in business, I've been mentioning this, you have to quote examples, but especially in marketing, it's very, very important that you keep on quoting relevant examples. Right? And this is what we're going to do in this particular topic also. So first of all, in demographic segmentation, the first point is age. Age, gender, income. We'll discuss all three under demographic. So you see, in case of age, there are so many industries that design their products, keeping in view the requirements of particular age groups. There's so many industries, I'm sure you can quote examples. There's so many industries that design their products in accordance with the lifestyle of particular age groups, right? Just to name a few, we have the toy industry. Toy industry is one industry which totally focuses on the lifestyle of different age groups. Obviously, the toy industry, as you know, they specify the age group that they're targeting. So everything is designed and decided accordingly. The promotional campaign, the instructions that are given on the label, the design of the product, so on and so forth. So the toy industry, they segment the market in terms of age. The clothing industry does that. Food industry segments the market in terms of age. There are specific food types, food items, which are meant to be consumed by a certain age group. You know, all baby food, Cerelac, for instance, by Nestle, that is also age segmentation. And all these, you know, all these chains, these Happy Meals and all, that is an elaboration, that is an example of segmentation on the basis of age. So food industry. Pharmaceutical industry segments the market in terms of age. As we all know, we have syrups for kids and we have tablets for the older age group. That is age segmentation. You can go on and on. Even, you know, there are car manufacturers that have started doing that. I'll quote one example here, Honda, for instance. Honda has launched a scooter called Honda Spree, S-P-R-E-E, Honda Spree. So Honda has launched a scooter, Honda Spree, and in the advertisement, they've categorically mentioned that Honda Spree is supposed to be purchased by 16 to 22-year-olds. 16 to 22-year-olds, Honda Spree, that's their target market. That's their target audience, 16 to 22. In the advertisement, they've mentioned it there. So that means even the car manufacturers are doing that, right? So all these examples, they should be quoted when you're discussing age segmentation, just to elaborate. Okay, even the banks do this. You know, the banking industry, you know, they would not leave a stone unturned to make money, obviously. So the banks, they have even started doing that. They have special accounts for the younger age group, young savings account, etc. They have accounts for pensioners, also the older age group, right? So all these examples, they are with relevance to age segmentation. There was relevance to, or with reference to, age segmentation. So toy industry, the banking industry, the car manufacturers, food, pharmaceutical, clothing, you name it. And you can quote your own examples also. So all these companies, they study the behavior of an age group and then they try to sell something accordingly. The promotional campaign will be designed accordingly. The design, everything. That's one. Then in demographic segmentation, we have gender also. So there are companies, they segment the market in such a way that both the genders, they are targeted separately. The clothing industry, for instance, they have a line of clothes for women, they have a line of clothes for men. So these are usual examples, clothing, toiletries, etc. for gender segmentation. But in gender also, there are a few unusual examples also. For instance, electronics. For instance, again, banks. Banks segment the market in terms of age, gender, income, all three. In gender also, you know, I'll just quote this example. You can reproduce this when you're attempting this question yourself also. There's a huge investment bank called Merrill Lynch, MERRILLLYNCH, Merrill Lynch. Huge bank. So Merrill Lynch, they have segmented the market in terms of gender, right? And what they've done is, Merrill Lynch, that they have published a magazine or a journal, especially for women investors, especially for women entrepreneurs. Merrill Lynch, they have published a magazine in which they have given a few useful tips as to how to become a successful businesswoman. It is called a handbook for women investors. A handbook for women investors, right? So publishing that handbook of women investors, they have managed, this has become like a bestseller. Over 1 million copies were sold in a few weeks' time. Handbook, you can quote this, a handbook of women investors. So this is an example of gender segmentation. And then, of course, there are quite a few common examples also, right? So you study the behavior of different electronics. I was mentioning these pink PlayStations, for instance. That is also gender segmentation. So companies doing this, they're coming up with different lines for both the genders. And this is another way of making sure that you achieve the goal of market orientation, right? The third category, again, in demographic segmentation is income segmentation. Okay, so as far as as far as income segmentation is concerned, this also comes under demographic. As I said, all the population related factors, that's demographic. So as far as income segmentation is concerned, I was saying this often proves to be the decisive factor. It often proves to be the decisive factor. You know, when you're taking important business decisions, it is very important. We have often observed that in all the important business decisions, you see the two most important decisions taken by a business organization. One is quality, and the other one is price, setting the right price and the quality standards. So both these decisions, quality and price, they're largely dependent on the income group that you're targeting. So that is why we often say the income might be the decisive factor. You know, whether you want to charge a high price or you want to maintain high quality standards or low quality standards or low price you want to charge. These decisions will depend on the income group that you're targeting, right? If you want to sell a luxury item, obviously you have to make sure that in that market, there are people who represent the high income group and they can purchase those luxury items, right? So, and quality also, if you're targeting the high income group, the quality standards will have to be raised. If your target market comprises of the middle or the lower income group, then it is quite possible. Of course, then the quality might have to be compromised a little to bring down the cost of production. So setting an appropriate price, setting quality standards, the two most important decisions taken by businesses, they depend on the lifestyle of the income group that you're targeting, right? So luxury items, you can quote these examples. If you're dealing in something which is categorized as a luxury item, an expensive watch, for instance, or an expensive car, for instance. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of model Rolex produces, it is a luxury item. And for this, they have to make sure that there are people in the market who can afford that expensive watch. Same is the case with all these expensive cars, jewelry, other items which are categorized as branded goods. So income segmentation is also important. And you might also add that nowadays the trend is that there are many companies. The trend is that there are many companies that try to target multiple income groups simultaneously also, right? You see, there are certain business organizations, like I just quoted a few examples, they specialize in the production of luxury items. For instance, Rolls-Royce, doesn't matter what they produce, it is going to be a luxury item. And they are going to target the high income. But now the trend is that there are numerous companies, some of them dealing in FMCGs, fast moving consumer goods, and other categories also. Now they have widened the range of the products, and now they have something for everyone almost. The same company will deal in a wide range of products. And they will have a version which is comparatively lower in price. The same company will have a version of the same product which is comparatively higher in price. So this is a smart move to make, because by doing this, simultaneously they target multiple income groups. For example, I was just mentioning FMCGs. There are companies like, for instance, Unilever, for instance, so Nestle, for instance. These companies, Unilever, they'll sell a soap, for instance, or a toothpaste or a shampoo which is lower in price, and the same company will have a soap or a shampoo which is higher in price also. Or a cooking, same is the case with the same company. They have multiple types of cooking oils for different income groups, and the price shows a major variation. Even a better, I think, example would be the cell phone industry. As we all know, the cell phone manufacturers, they adopt this strategy. They have a wide range of cell phones. Most of the cell phone industries, cell phone manufacturers, they have a wide range of cell phones. They'll have a cell phone which is quite low in price, and the same company might have a cell phone which is fairly high in price. So this is a strategy to target multiple income groups at the same time. And of course, it reduces the risk factor, and it increases your chances of bringing about an improvement in revenue generation. So this is income. So people who are joining in, we are discussing market segmentation here in section 3. This is right after product life cycle. Previously, we went through the last stage, decline. We discussed those 4 stages in product life cycle. And currently, we're doing market segmentation. And market segmentation, we just finished the first major category, the first type of market segmentation is called demographic segmentation. And in demographic, we have discussed age, gender, and income. Now, category number 2, geographic segmentation. After demographic, we have geographic segmentation, right? So in geographic segmentation, as the name suggests, geographic means that you divide the market, you segment the market in terms of regional characteristics. That is geographic. Geographic segmentation means that you segment the market on the basis of regional characteristics, right? The market is segmented into various compartments. This compartment represents people living in Lahore. This segment represents Islamabad. This segment represents defense. This segment represents Gulbarga. So when the classification is on the basis of location or regional characteristics, we call it geographic segmentation, right? Okay. So in geographic segmentation, let's just try and quote some relevant examples here. In geographic segmentation, we should know that, for example, products which are somewhat seasonal in nature or which are greatly dependent on the weather conditions, they come under geographic segmentation, right? Air conditioners, heaters, winter clothing, summer clothing. The sale and the production of all these items obviously depends on the weather conditions. Because geography includes weather conditions also. So all these products, winter clothing, summer clothing, heaters, etc., these are designed and sold keeping in mind the geographical characteristics of the area, right? So in addition to these, food items also, the food industry, that also segments the market in terms of geography. There are certain food items which are more popular. For instance, soft drinks. For a fact, in Pakistan, the sale of soft drinks in the northern regions, it is much lower as compared to the southern and the central parts of the country, because the weather conditions and the location is different, right? So that is also geographic segmentation. Then another thing, the geography or the location, it has a direct influence on our tastes also, right? For instance, in certain countries, in certain areas, people like spicy food. Like in Pakistan also, people are more inclined towards spicy food. So all the companies, they would try to modify their products in such a way that they become more acceptable to the taste buds of the people living in that area. Look at the Chinese food that we have in Pakistan. It is quite different as compared to the actual genuine Chinese food. This is what market orientation, customer orientation is all about, right? Doing what the customers want you to do. So all these multinational chains, the way they modify their products, tikka, pizza, and masala, etc., this is market orientation. This is market segmentation. Another example. There's a company you might be familiar with, Campbell, Campbell. Campbell has the largest market share in the world in soups. There's the largest market share in the world in soups. Campbell, right? So even Campbell adopts a strategy of market orientation. And they also modify their food items in such a way that they become more acceptable to the customers living in that area. You know, Campbell's nacho soup is the best-selling item. Campbell's nacho soup, huge market share. And you know, Campbell could have insisted that we have the largest market share in the world. Why should we modify our product? But no. In market orientation, you do what the customers want you to do. So Campbell, they have segmented the market in such a way that their nacho soup is spicier in Texas. This is how people like it there. So when their consignments, when they go to Texas, the nacho soup, it is spicier there. So this is also geographic segmentation. That's number 2. The third category is called psychographic segmentation. Psychographic, P-S-Y-C-H-O, psychographic segmentation, right? So psychographic segmentation, remember this. Psychographic segmentation means that you give importance to the lifestyle of people, you give importance to the lifestyle of people based on their social and religious beliefs. That is psychographic segmentation. When you give importance to the lifestyle of people, which is molded by their social, cultural, or religious beliefs. Right? So anything that deals with the traditions, culture, society, that comes under psychographic. So over here, I would like you to quote examples from a topic that we covered in section 1, ethics. Remember ethics, CSR, triple bottom line, section 1? All those examples that have been discussed there, they are relevant to psychographic segmentation also. The reason is that in psychographic segmentation, you modify your products in such a way that they become more acceptable in religious or social terms. Examples, interest-free banking. Interest-free banking has been a huge success in Pakistan. Around 9% share is of interest-free banking these days, which is quite significant. So all these companies, all these banks, the multinational banks also, they want to be market-oriented, and they have offered these services to people because they appeal to them. So interest-free banking, the clothing industry, companies that which are a part of the clothing industry, they would always make sure whether it's a conservative society or a liberated society, and accordingly they will modify the product. I might have quoted this example of Barbie dolls, either in pest analysis or I don't know, ethics possibly. You guys, you have done pest analysis with me. So the way they have modified Barbie dolls for the Middle Eastern market, changing the appearance to make it more acceptable to the people in terms of society and culture and traditions and norms and religion. That is also psychographic. Halal food is psychographic segmentation. We've already discussed the example when there was an issue with Lay's and they had added something which was not halal and it backfired, and then they had to modify the product after losing millions. So all this is very, very important because psychographic segmentation, this is a sensitive affair. People get offended when you try to sell something to them which is against their traditions or norms or culture or society or religion. So you don't want to do that. Right? So all those changes in the products, which are because of the society, religion, traditions, etc., they come under psychographic segmentation. And companies, they give a lot of importance to this. Look at how the advertising campaign, the flavor changes. Whenever a festival is approaching, we can easily see a marked difference in the way products are advertised, whether it is Ramzan is approaching, or it's Eid, or any other festival. So they try to modify their products and the advertising campaign also, and they try to make sure that they refer to that festival because they know this is something that would appeal to customers. That's psychographic, right? So we're done with demographic, geographic, psychographic. In the end, just one last paragraph in market segmentation. You can expect a separate short question also on this. You should just write this down. This is the heading: mass and niche marketing. Mass versus niche marketing, NICHE. Mass and niche marketing. Mass versus niche marketing. Okay, this is a part of market segmentation, and you'll find separate questions on this also. You see, mass marketing means when you manufacture or distribute something in bulk. That is mass marketing. Manufacturing and distributing a product in a very large quantity, manufacturing and distributing product in bulk. For the masses, it is mass marketing. The same product for everyone with no major distinction or discrimination or fluctuation in quality standards, nothing. That is mass marketing. When a product is manufactured and distributed in a very large quantity in bulk, irrespective of the group that they're targeting or the segment that they're targeting, that's mass marketing. So obviously mass marketing is popular in case of products which are consumed by everyone, products which are equally popular with everyone, like FMCGs, fast moving consumer goods, soft drinks, water, food items, bread, milk. FMCGs, they're often mass marketed. They are manufactured, they're produced and distributed in a very large quantity. Regular Pepsi, regular Coke, for instance, they're mass marketed because this is something which is popular with everyone, different genders, age groups, income groups, social background. And the significance of mass marketing is that it allows manufacturers to enjoy major economies of scale. The manufacturers, they enjoy major economies of scale, right? The average costs go down. Major economies of scale are enjoyed because the product is being manufactured in a very large quantity. Economies of scale. The price is usually low, but a very high level of production is maintained, which allows them to enjoy economies of scale. Now, as opposed to mass marketing, there's something that we call niche marketing, NICHE. But first of all, you should know how to define the term correctly, niche market. The 3 words to be used in niche marketing. A niche market is a smaller proportion of the market. What is a niche market? It is a smaller proportion of the market. Relatively untapped. Untapped means there's room for growth. So niche market is a smaller proportion of the market. Relatively untapped. Relatively untapped, if handled properly, it will grow further. Relatively untapped, smaller proportion of the market. Comprising of individuals who share a unique or uncommon characteristic. Consisting of individuals who share a unique or uncommon characteristic. That is a niche market. Smaller proportion, relatively untapped, and consisting of individuals who share a unique or uncommon characteristic. There has to be something unique about this segment, then you call it a niche market, right? So just keep in mind that when you're quoting examples here, don't restrict yourself to luxury items only. There's a misconception about this niche marketing that it has to be a luxury item to be part of a niche market. That's wrong. That's a misconception. A luxury item is certainly an example of a niche market, right? All these examples that we were quoting a while ago, all these branded items, right? The luxury items, jewelry and cars and watches and personal aircraft or personal yachts, etc. Luxury items, yes, that's a niche market. But that does not mean that it has to be a luxury item to be a part of this niche market. Regular Coke is mass market, Diet Coke is niche market. And Diet Coke obviously is not a luxury item. but it does have a unique characteristic. So quote both examples, Diet Coke and a Rolex watch, both would do. Niche marketing, right? Smaller market, regular Coke is a larger market, Diet Coke is a smaller market. Uniqueness and relatively untapped. And the significance in the end, the significance of niche marketing is that it helps a business in establishing its brand image. Niche marketing helps a business in establishing its brand image because they're dealing in something exclusive. They're dealing in something special. So it helps them in establishing their brand image. That we are dealing and we are manufacturing, we are producing and distributing something which is exclusive. Right? That is the significance of niche marketing. So hopefully you've understood the topic, market segmentation. So in this section, we done product life cycle, and previously we discussed those different types of elastic demand also. We're done with market segmentation. There are 2 or 3 other topics to be covered in this section, which are very important. There's market research and there's distribution. And then we also have to learn about the format of an answer based on marketing mix. And of course, there's one topic called forecasting. So we'll cover all these topics in section 3. And we will continue with this, whether it's an online class or an on-campus class. Right, everyone? All right, so this should be it for now. Allah Hafiz.